Blockchain, crypto, NFTs, DeFi, metaverse, Web3 is literally eating the world, and community builders are the new leaders. Hi everyone, I'm Bilal El Alamy, co-founder of PyratzLabs, a startup studio fully dedicated to Web3 startups. In PyratzLand, I'll give the mic to Web3 builders, founders, and investors so that we can deep dive with them into what is truly about Web3 entrepreneurship. No conventional bullshit, only creativity, rebellion, and community-driven insights. Hello there. Hello, Clément.
Hello, Bilal.
I'm very glad to have you. Before we start, I'd like to thank all the people that have been listening to us since we've launched the podcast. Today I'm with Clément, a very good friend. It's pretty funny. We met in a conference at Sciences Po about 3-4 years ago.
More, I think.
More?
And 2017, so 5 years ago now.
5 years ago. I remember it was very inspiring. You were publishing your first book or your book at that time, so we'll get back to it. So Clément, you are the co-founder of Ternoa and the CEO of Capsule Corp. You will tell us a little bit more the relation between both of them. And I'm very eager to know what does it take to start a new blockchain. But before that, let's start a little bit with you. Can you tell us where did you grow up? We'd like to know a little bit more about you.
Yes, okay, thank you very much for the invitation and hi all. Yes, I grew up in Toulon.
South of France?
In south of France, near to Marseille. It's a military port because my father was a marine officer, okay. So that's why I grew up here. So it was very nice because you know, when you are in the south of France, it's like a Mediterranean weather. So you have a lot of sun, a lot of things. You can be outdoor every time. So I think it's a good way of life.
Nice. Do you like sailing or
yes,
diving or
diving, sailing, swimming, be on the beach, etc. So yes, I spent a lot of time on the beach and on different boats, etc. So
a lot of freedom when you were young.
Exactly. Exactly. That's it. Actually, you know, when you are maybe in a good weather country, you can spend a lot of time outdoor, and I think like the fact to be outdoor, especially when you are young, and when I say young, it's between maybe 10 or 18, you have like this feeling of freedom because you can just walk in the night in the city. You can go outside, play with your friend. You can go at the beach. You can go at the forest, etc.
And entertain your curiosity.
Yes, I think it's very important when you are young to be outdoor and to discover the world. Even if I spent maybe many times playing video games, but you can have both in the south. That's why I was really happy to grow up in this place.
You haven't been always an entrepreneur. Can you tell us a little bit more about your journey, your journey?
Not at all. Actually, it's difficult to say what is an entrepreneur, because for me, an entrepreneur is someone that runs a company. So before to run a company, you are not an entrepreneur. But once you said that, you say, okay, maybe if I try to understand the way I did some things before to run my company, you can find some elements that tell you, okay, actually, I did not know, but I have this mindset of entrepreneur. And it could be, for instance, I don't know, to have a leadership when you are when you play sport, like to be the captain or stuff like that. A leadership to organize some stuff with your friend. For instance, if you are always the guy that call your friend to organize a party or to organize an outdoor activities, or to have this kind of leadership, for me, it's like elements that could be explained that 10 years after, you could be an entrepreneur. But and on the top of that, I didn't start my career as an entrepreneur because before to run my company, I worked a little bit more than 5 years as in a different consulting firm in finance and strategic. So for me, it was important to do that before because it allows me to learn many things in finance, strategic, to have maybe conceptual framework in order to have this capacity to understand economics, to understand finance, to understand some stuff, allowing you to have different tools to be better in your entrepreneur life.
All right, super interesting. And what would you say are the elements when you were young that give you this leadership, give you this agility that you're using as an entrepreneur now?
I think that it's difficult, you know, to know what is
exactly the
goal, but the fact.
What's the pattern?
The pattern, I think it's one thing. I want to always win. Okay, when I, for instance, when I do sport, when I play video games, when I play board games.
And does this come from your father, who was a Marine officer, or
no? It's I've always been like this. Okay. Since I remember, I want just win the game, just win.
Okay.
And I want to be a winner, and I want to do all the effort possible to win different things that I want to do. So right. I think that as you want to win, you need to become a leader because it's easier to win if you're a leader because you can gather people around you in order to increase the rate to win. So I think that before the leadership part, there is this winner mindset, which is very important for me, that the fact to be always the first in everything.
And let's try to understand where does this come from. Who would be your inspiring figure as you grew up?
I think that I always loved history. I read.
And Toulon is a historic city.
Yeah, historic city. I read a lot of book on history, etc. And I was always very impressed by historical leader like Napoleon Bonaparte, for instance. I read like thousands of books on him, or different leader like Caesar or Alexander I or stuff like that. So I think that the people that inspire me was leader in the past, in history, like Napoleon Bonaparte or stuff like that.
All right, super interesting. And you would say that your mentors were those people, basically.
In a way, yes, because I read so many books on them, trying to understand why they think like that, why they did that, how they come from, like a situation could be difficult to be a winner, etc. So yes.
All right. Let's dig in a little bit more around your projects, plural. Can you tell us more about Ternoa and Capsule Corp, the relation, and give us the big picture of your organization?
Yes, I think it's easy to understand. So we have Ternoa, which is a layer 1 blockchain dedicated to NFTs. So the idea is to develop a blockchain to give the possibility to builder to have the best experience for utilities NFTs. Why? Because we have a vision that NFTs in the next years will be based more on utilities than on collectible. And when I say utilities, is that the fact that NFTs will be only like a digital format, like you have a PDF, you have JPEG, and you have utilities. For instance, when I buy a ticket for a concert, I buy a ticket for a concert. I don't think that I'm buying a PDF. And for us, it will be exactly the same thing in the future with the NFT. There will be new use case based on the fact that thanks to NFT feature, you can have like a true ownership of your digital data. So which means that you can have, you can transfer it, you can sell it, you have more transparency, etc. And you can imagine different use cases. So based on the fact that for us, NFT will be a new digital format that could be a concurrent to JPEG or PDF, we decided to build Ternoa, the blockchain, dedicated to all the use cases you can imagine to, based on utility NFTs, with some unique features, like the possibility, to consider the NFTs as a container where you can store additional data, like photo, video, etc. And you can attach to these NFTs some transfer protocol, and a possibility to say, okay, I want to send this NFT with this data inside to this person in 10 years, 20 years, etc. Again, because we are considering NFTs as a way, as a mean to create new use cases. So that's it for Ternoa. And Capsule Corp Labs, the idea is to develop use cases, because when you have a blockchain, you need to have, first of all, some tools allowing to take advantage of the blockchain, like a wallet, an indexer, and we are also developing a software development kit, a SDK, allowing people to develop NFT collection, NFT project directly in JavaScript or in Unity, which is very interesting because if you look at different blockchain, you need to, to develop in, for instance, Solidity on Ethereum or in Michelson in Tezos, which are like rare languages. So you need to hire like specific competencies, etc. It could be very expensive. You can have also IT legacy because it's difficult to have like a team for 1 year of developer, etc. So the idea is to reduce the cost of developing NFT project thanks to SDK. So that's it for the tooling part, allowing to take advantage of the blockchain. And at the same time, we are trying to help big corporate and startup to develop use cases by giving them some strategic advisory, marketing, project management, etc., in order to understand how you can build a successful Web3 project today. And I would say moreover today because there is a market condition who could be difficult and you need to be more precise and better in your go-to-market, in your product market fit, etc. And it is exactly what we are trying to do with our clients.
All right, very interesting. And so yeah, it's basically kind of the traditional blockchain organization type. You have kind of an
exactly, it's
an
like
adoption arm
and Ethereum and Consensus, Tezos and Nomadic Labs, etc. So exactly, it's quite traditional in the Web3 world, the organizations that we
okay.
had.
So Ternoa is the layer 1 and Capsule Corp is the adoption arm. Okay. And what's the kind of the unique selling point of Ternoa as a blockchain? I don't know, from a technological standpoint, not just an applicative standpoint.
It's all about, data privacy.
Okay.
Again, it's utilities NFTs for data privacy, because thanks to the fact that you can store data in the NFT, you can have a true safe space to store your data, which means that, first of all, data are decentralized, and so you have a true resilience in your capacity to store the data. And secondly, only the owner of the NFT can have access to the data, which is very different for like traditional cloud storage solution like iCloud, etc., where the cloud supplier, if you read like the terms and agreements, they have the possibility to have access to all the data you can store, etc. And we can't do that. And I think it's, more generally speaking, if we step back, it's one of the promise of blockchain technology and Web3 is the possibility to people to have a true ownership of all digital data they can manipulate. So we have the token, we have all the currencies that exist before, And the idea is that we take this idea of digital ownership, privacy, transparency, and we put it with data privacy thanks the use we do of NFTs.
All right, and can you quote a very concrete use case you've executed with one of your partner clients to describe the pertinence of the...
Exactly. We are building with the French notaries. Okay, so today the idea is to say, okay, the question, say, how can I transmit my data? Because today you have the possibility to transmit financial stuff, object, true stuff like if I die, the house, whatever. But it's really difficult to transmit maybe your digital life. And we know that today...
By digital life, you mean what? You mean your passwords?
Password, Facebook,
LinkedIn, Facebook,
everything. Because today, I think there is this new way. We have a part of our life in the digital way, a lot of photos, videos, etc. And it could be also financial asset because you need to. If I die tomorrow, how can I transmit the wallet key to have access to my cryptocurrencies or stuff like that? And we worked with French notaries, a solution allowing people to store all the digital data they want to transmit, financial like a wallet key, but also photo, videos. It is stored in an NFTs. And once you die, the notaries could say, okay, to your daughter or stuff like that, okay, I give you the NFTs and the key to have access to the NFTs, and inside you can discover all the data that the person wants to transmit.
Okay, very clear, very clear. How did you end up in this project?
I think it was a lot linked to serendipity.
To what?
Serendipity.
Serendipity, what is that?
I'm not sure about the word in English, but I think it's the same. Serendipity en français, serendipity in English.
Okay.
Is the fact that you need to create random in your life. The more you have random possibilities, the more you can meet people, create opportunities that generate business. It's like, when you are playing board games, the more you can take card in your hand, the more you have possibility to play.
Okay.
And I think it is exactly the same in life in general, in business, but also, I don't know, if you want to find your love, it's better to go in a bar or to go outside to just stay at home and say, okay, I want it. So you need to create, place where you can meet people and create opportunities. And I think that the fact that I wrote a book on blockchain in 2017, it gave me a kind of exposition in the Web3 French ecosystem with entrepreneurs, with journalists, etc., etc. And I met a lot of people, and especially I was very lucky because I met Michael Canu, with the CEO of Ternoa and the main founder. And he has this idea of, okay, how can I transmit data with NFTs? And he proposed me to be a partner of the company. So it was, I would say, by luck, because the idea don't come from me. But when I have this opportunity, I didn't think a lot. Okay, let's go.
Cool. And what are the elements that convinced you to join Ternoa, this opportunity and not another? Is it Michael Canu, or is it the vision of the project?
I think that three different things. That I think that the personality of Michael Canu, he has a lot of convictions, and he has a lot of complementary skills with me and other founders, because he's a full stack dev, etc. And when you want to run a project, one of the most difficult things is to find someone that has his capacity to develop, to run project, etc. So, and also the idea, because I love this idea of, okay, I have this possibility to create a sustainable infrastructure for maybe 100 years, allowing people to take a true ownership of their data. And I think in terms of philosophy, it's very strong. So, okay, I have this capacity to have this ownership and to take part and not to depend of any cloud supplier or stuff like that. So I was very convinced of this value proposition and the fact that it could be a kind of true revolution. And third thing, the fact that I was open to any opportunities in the Web3 world after having writing my book. Mm-hmm. So it was the good moment, the good person, the good project, I would say.
All right. What does your community look like?
In terms of, I think that it's a mixed. Because, you know, at the beginning of the adventure, we communicated a lot of the use cases of time capsule, the end goal, you know, the fact that you can transmit the data. And we, based on this idea, we succeed in gathering a lot of OGs, as we said, and they invest a lot in this project. But it was the first time of the idea. Of the community, they are very informed of the idea of time capsule, etc. And I think that in terms of communication in the roadmap, the idea is that we need, in the first of all, to build the blockchain infrastructure in order to have all this feature about NFT, data privacy, etc., etc. So the second time was more a communication about technical, about blockchain, about SDK, the possibility to gather in our project more developer. So it's not the same. It's not the same community, but I think that it has been sometimes a little bit difficult to be sure to create a bridge between a community of maybe users that just want to have access to the DApps that will be live in the next month, and developers that want to, you know, to play with the SDK. So sometimes it's difficult to bridge these two, but I think that we are very lucky because we launched a project more than 2 years ago, and we have still a lot of activities on our different social media like Telegram.
How far did you grow? Give us some KPIs.
Today we have 1,030 key people on Twitter. And maybe between 20 and 25 key people on Discord and Telegram.
So key people?
Key people. Sorry, it's a community.
Community, yeah. No, I was saying global KPIs of the project.
The company, today we are more than 50 people.
What's the market cap of your token?
So we have today we have a market cap of $6 million.
Okay.
Due to
the market condition.
Yes, due to the market condition, I think that we have been in 1 year.
What's your all-time high?
In terms of market cap, it has been $50 million.
Okay.
And today it's 4, so
okay.
we reduced by 10 the market cap due to market condition. And today we have little bit more than 35 key holders of our token.
Okay.
So it's good figures. And token price is 7 cents of dollars. So it's
how many people in your community?
We have 200 key people in our community.
200 key people?
Yes. Community, which means that different social media or.
Yeah, like the total number of your community, if you aggregate the followers on your social media, for example.
Yes, it's 200 key.
Okay, 200,000. Okay.
Yes.
When you say key, it's...
okay, sorry.
200,000, okay. Yeah, okay, interesting. What are some of the growth techniques that you used? Because starting a layer 1 blockchain is pretty competitive. There are like, I don't know, 2,000, 5,000 blockchains.
There is not so much blockchain.
Okay. What's the number actually?
100.
100? Okay.
Yes. If you look at CoinMarketCap, we do our studies. Okay. 100.
Okay.
So it's not so much in the world.
Okay.
But there is very big competitors,
Yeah.
but it's not so much compared to, I think there is more than 20,000 crypto projects in the world and
Okay.
only 100
Blockchains.
blockchain.
And what are some of the growth techniques that you use to find a place in this landscape?
I think that at the beginning it was only bootstrap. Okay, so a lot of communication with our first community, which means that you need to do a lot of Ask Me Anything sessions live. You need to have a lot of relationship with key opinion leader and to have live with them. I think that, you know, if I just put an advice, is the best thing is to do a live and not, you know, just a retweet or stuff like that, because engagement is not so good. But the fact to have time during maybe half an hour, 1 hour, to have a conversation with a key opinion leader that can match in terms of audience with the products that you want to develop, it can have a lot of impact in terms of possibility to gather a community. And also you have, I would say, classical way to do a very growth hacking technique, like the possibility, you know, to do some giveaway or stuff like that. But I think it's not so good to do this because it's not qualified community, because most of the time people just go on your Twitter to maybe to have some sense of token and don't have a true interest of your project. So I think that do Ask Me Anything, communicate a lot on Twitter by explaining what you are doing, and do live with key opinion leader. It's for the first 12 months of your company. It's a good way to grow and to gather a community. And after that,
to be very transparent and close to the community.
Exactly, and say, okay, we have this roadmap, explain the roadmap, don't lie to your community, and I think it's very important. And after that, you have all the physical events, and we know that in the Web3 world, there are a lot of physical events like Paris Blockchain Week, CES Las Vegas, or stuff like that. I think that when you are enough mature with your project, it is what we did, it's important because you can create a lot of connection.
What does 2023 hold for Ternoa?
I think if we just look at the global economic situation, it is very difficult because yes, we have inflation, we have an increase of interest rate, we have this war between Ukraine and Russia, we have difficulties in global supply chain. So I think that the global economic situation is very difficult.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah, very scary. Inside this global situation, you have the tech situation, which is very difficult because if you look at the main indicator, like I don't know, Apple market cap have decreased for 50% in 1 year, Tesla 60%, etc.
Yeah.
So we have.
I heard Elon became the first person to lose 200 billion euros in a year.
Exactly. So we have a global tech situation. It could be very difficult, and we see that for the first time in whole history, a lot of Californian tech company fired people. It is the same in France. If you look, like for instance, Back Market decided to reduce by 15% the effective. We have a lot of tech company in Europe and
A lot of austerity, basically.
fired. And if we just look at Web3, which is maybe a subset of the tech, and a subset which more volatility, which means that when it's up, the Web3 has tendance to up more than traditional tech company, but when it's down quicker.
Yeah.
So I think it will be tough, and we need to be sure that we have enough cash to have at least 1 year of runway, even if we don't have any revenue from 1 year. So that is the hypothesis on which we build our business plan today. It's
Okay.
no revenue for 1 year. It could be conservative, but I prefer to have a good surprise at to need to close the company, and to have enough cash to have a team for 1 year.
Okay. And in terms of objectives for 2023, on top of surviving?
The list is to finish to deliver all the blockchain with all the feature,
Okay.
which means that the possibility to
What's
to
lacking?
all the privacy,
Okay.
possibility to store the data in the NFT, to have the transfer protocol.
Okay.
So it could be good in the first trimester of this year.
Okay.
And to launch the time capsule application, which was the first DApps on which we communicate, and we raised our first money 2 years ago. And to still attract more clients, especially in the video games industry, because we are considering that this sector is more mature in terms of NFT comprehension and capacity to create new business model. So yes, we have a lot of we have partnership with different video games studio. So the idea is to keep this space of developing use cases, the apps, and the goal is to finish 2023 with maybe 20 DApps that run on our blockchain.
Okay, interesting number. Small question, because lately I've been looking at the latest improvements on blockchain with what people call data available layers, with optimistic rollups. Is this part of your roadmap? Do you consider that as challenging features that you want to implement?
Not today, but for instance, rollup, etc. We are working on it for maybe next year, etc. But
Okay.
the idea of this year is to finish to deliver the first roadmap we promises, and after to think about how we can increase and improve the chain with more features.
All right. Thanks. We'll stop here for my question around your projects. Let's get back to you, and not you as a person, but you as an entrepreneur. What did you find hard in being a Web3 founder?
I think that the biggest difficulty is that when you have a token, you are listed.
Yeah.
And
I wanted to ask this question actually.
Huh?
Go ahead. I wanted to ask this question.
And
well.
it's very difficult because when you are a startup, you are not a listed company. And when you are a listed company, every day you have an evolution of your market cap, etc. And the most difficult thing is that, is to accept that maybe sometimes your actions doesn't have any impact on your market cap. You can do what you are considering as good thing, and there is no up impact. And sometimes you do nothing and there is up. So it's very difficult to accept that there is a market, and maybe it's difficult to have impact on the global market conditions. It's very difficult, and it's very difficult to not always refresh, your market cap, your token price, and trying to understand what is going on, etc. So, and to accept that sometimes people can lose money because your token is down or stuff like that. So it's very difficult to say, I can lose money to some people, to friends, etc. It's very difficult. Second thing is that, and it's very linked to the Web3 world, when you are a person, an entrepreneur, you have a community. As I said, we have 200,000 people that are following us with different live, etc. And you can have like a personal criticism, like you are fat or stuff like that. So, and I think that when you are running a traditional SaaS company or stuff like that, you don't have this interaction with retail base or consumers or stuff like that. So that it could be very difficult, to have these public figures like a kind of politician, and as it's very specific to the Web3, it could be very surprising at the beginning. And you know that each of your word can have an impact for the community when you are in live. If you give a wrong answer or stuff like that, it could be very impactful. So you need to be very good at all the live and all the interaction with the community. So I think it's the most difficult thing.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It was kind of the same with the gaming on my side. First, indeed, I saw that the more close you are to your community, the better the project is. But then you have the other face of the coin, which is like your token is listed, and anything you can say or do can be kind of used against you, and it adds a tremendous new pressure because as soon as there is a little bit of volatility, you have all your community on you, and you spend half a day writing a message to try to calm everyone. And indeed, and I think the community needs also more financial literacy to understand also what we're doing and our place in it. And like you said, not everything is as easy as it could sound. It's not because you're doing a big announcement that the token can double. So
you expected that the token double, but nothing happened.
It's definitely very troubling and hard to apprehend. How would you describe the learning curve of? Earlier, you were saying that obviously everything you've done compiles to being an entrepreneur with the personalities that are required. But how would you describe the learning curve of maybe the teams that you hired?
I think that it's difficult because when you have a startup, you have the first month, you need to hire people, but you don't have the king choice because your brand is not well known. You don't have so much money, so you can't pay well people. So you need to hire people to do some stuff, etc. After many months, if you succeed in raising money to structure the company, etc., you have two choices for people. There is people that have this capacity to step up, say, okay, I have the capacity to grow with the company, to increase my level. And you have people that don't have this capacity to step up. And you need to fire people that can't step up. The ratio that we can observe is that most of the time, 1/3 of the people don't step up, 1/3 of the people step up, and 1/3 just are equal. And the idea is to have this capacity to take the good decision quickly, to have the capacity to fire people that don't step up, and to keep people that step up and help them to increase and step up more and better, etc. I think that after this, you have when you have keep all the persons that can step up, you can hire more people and attract better talents that help you to be a better entrepreneur and to have a better understanding of what you are doing. And especially, for instance, me, I don't come from the tech world, so I don't have any capacity in development, etc. So you need to have this capacity to trust your CTO in order to create a process, to be sure that you can deliver the tech, etc. So people around you help you to become a better entrepreneur because you are learning from your C-level. And at the same time, you need to have this capacity to give the good vision, to give the good pace, the good rhythm to your C-level in order to create a good synergy.
How would you describe the company culture of Ternoa and Capsule Corp?
First of all, we are fully remote. So it's a very important element to take because when you are fully remote, it has necessarily a huge impact on the corporate culture because you need to have a lot of trust and confidence in your team, in their capacity to work, not to be in the forest, doing sport all the day. So it's all about trust, confidence, responsibility. And the idea is that when you give a lot of responsibility and trust to people, if they don't match the result, they need to accept to be fired because, you know, when you give 100% of freedom to someone and say, okay, you need to achieve this goal, and you can organize yourself as you want just to achieve this goal. But if you don't achieve this goal, it means that you are maybe you don't work enough or you are not at this level. You need to accept to have the consequences of missing your goal. So I think it's at the same time corporate culture, to sum up, a lot of freedom, liberty, and autonomy in the team management. And at the same time, we are 100% result focus because there is no other way to do.
Interesting, super interesting. You talked about a lot about time capsule. It's one of the killing feature of your blockchain. If you would go back in time, what would you tell yourself before starting Ternoa and be the CEO of a company?
What do you mean?
What would you tell yourself if you would go back in time and talk to yourself 4 or 5 years ago? What would you tell him?
I think maybe invest more in cryptocurrency. But no, I think it's okay. You took the right way because from my point of view, any stone that I put on the way was very important to be where I am today. So I think that just follow the road, trust in you, and follow your intuitions and create serendipity.
And but okay, that's your advice. Would you, I don't know, share a resource that really made you step up?
In terms of a book or
yeah, in terms of book, for example, in terms of resources, I don't know. Could be a podcast, could be a newsletter you've discovered recently. Could be a person you wish you would have met him before.
I think the best book that inspired me for entrepreneur is, I don't have the traduction in English, is Antifragile de Taleb.
Never heard of this one.
It's very interesting. It's all about, you know, how you can take part about volatility in life.
Okay.
And all about optionality. And I think it's the way that when you want to be an entrepreneur, it's this, you need to understand the global volatility of a market and how you can take advantage of a volatility on the market and the situation.
Okay. But has nothing to do with finance. It's like really interesting.
It's not volatility. It's volatility, more generally speaking,
okay.
in life.
Randomness.
Yes, the randomness of the life.
Interesting. Okay. Do you have any like daily routines? Because I know you have a family.
Yes, I think that I try to start my work relatively early, and I think the fact that I am in full remote, it can help because you reduce the transport time. I try to start at 8:30, generally speaking. I have a lot of calls in the morning. I have always a break at 12. I have two choices. First, I can do a business lunch just to increase my network, to meet business partners, etc. Or I do sport, so running. So the idea is to create a a maximum impact for my lunchtime, you know, just not to be alone or just to do nothing. And after that, generally, I work all the afternoon, but I have a position with a lot of call. Unfortunately, generally speaking, I spend maybe 11 or 12 hours a day by call, either for managing team, to have conversation with clients, to do prospections, to have a relationship with investors. So it's a lot of, the idea is that the difficult thing is to create this equilibrium between internal work and external work.
And how do you describe the balance between your personal life and your professional life?
I think it's a good balance, the fact to be remote, because if you have sometimes half an hour in a day, you can spend it with your daughter or stuff like that. I think that I have good balance with family and work, but it's difficult, you know, to have more time to do a lot of parties, to go to do more than 5 hours of sport per week, to go to the cinema or stuff like that. So I have enough balance to work maybe between 60, 70 hours per week, and to spend the rest of hours with the family. But you know, you cannot extend more.
Who do you follow on Twitter?
Um,
Who would you recommend following?
on Twitter, Taleb, so
Okay.
the same.
This author?
Yes, and I like to follow account from you know, directly project,
Okay.
not people, more project like Dogami,
Alright.
Polkadot, Ethereum. En fait, official account.
Okay.
I prefer to do this.
So follow
More.
communities,
Yes,
not persons. What's your prediction for this year?
I think it
A
will.
bold prediction.
I think it will be a very tough year. Maybe we will have a bottom. I don't know. I think
In terms of business,
for Web3,
yeah.
there will be a lot of companies that will die.
Okay.
Maybe 1/3 or half company will have difficulties to raise more money.
But I'm more looking at what could be the use case of 2023. You know, like 2022 was maybe NFT in gaming. 2021
Yes, but
was DeFi.
you're right, but at the same time you're wrong. You say okay, NFT in gaming. Yes, a lot of projects raise money for NFT in gaming, but not deliver. It's very difficult to play NFT in gaming today. You have a lot of projects, but it's difficult to play because projects don't succeed in finishing the game or delivering. So for me, the projection is that this year, people will finish to deliver use cases that have been promised 1 or 2 years ago.
Okay.
And people will at least can play to video games, use NFTs in ticketing, etc. So I think it will be more a year about finishing building and having true use cases.
And what do you think about the place of corporates in the Web3 ecosystem?
A traditional corporate?
Yeah.
I think it could be very important because it's big corporates that can help Web3 companies to have a mass market adoptions because they have access to the mass market, to a large retail base, etc. And thanks to joint venture or ambitious project, you can have this capacity to attract more users and to fact that people will at least use real use cases in Web3.
Yeah, I'm totally aligned with that. I think like 2023 is going to be the corporates coming in the dance. We've covered pretty much all the topics. I like to finish with a small ritual. I know you're a big fan of poetry.
Yeah.
What's your favorite author, poem?
I like Baudelaire.
I was thinking of him.
Yeah, it's quite traditional.
Yeah.
And yes, I like poetry, but I have also more generally art, like painters or stuff like that.
Okay, interesting. What types of art do you like?
Like traditional art, you know, like Quai Branly with
Okay.
all the mass you can have from different countries. Because for me, it's a lot of a mix of art and anthropology. You
Yeah.
know, when you can discover secret culture and trying to understand how different culture create their own way to do art, to do new gods or stuff like that. So I like to read book also on this. So I like this kind of art, and I have a lot of kind of stuff at home.
And last question, what do you consider um, how do you consider the notion of success, and when do you think you'll be successful?
Um, for me,
What is it to be successful?
as an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
it is when you have you run your company and you know that you have found your product market fit and you generate profit. The idea is that which means that you create EBITDA margin and you have enough cash and fund to deploy. So I think that's it.
All right. All right. All right. Thank you, Clément. It was very interesting talking with you today. I
Thank
think
you, Bilal, for the invitation.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. I think the listeners will enjoy these talks, and thank you, everyone, and don't forget to subscribe.